Oxford Public Schools School Committee meeting of Monday, April 25th, 2022. Please note that face coverings and masks are optional in all school buildings until further notice. Regular school committee meetings are videotaped by Oxford Cable Access and broadcast live on the town's public access educational cable channel 194. Please be advised that tonight's meeting will be the last meeting to be live streamed on the district's Facebook page. Effective with the next meeting on May 9th, we will be transitioning to the online streaming platform, which can be accessed from the Town of Oxford website. Video recordings of regular meetings may also be viewed subsequent to the live broadcast via the town's YouTube channel, which may also be accessed from either the Town of Oxford website or the Oxford Public Schools website. So I would like to call the meeting to order. First order of business is to open the floor for public comment. Comments are limited to topics relating to school business. Speakers must identify themselves by name and address and will be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Although the school committee may hear comments on unanticipated topics, discussion or action on topics not specifically listed on the agenda will be postponed until a future meeting date. So as I look out, we do not have anybody from the public, so I am going to close the floor for public comment. Move right down the agenda to our special presentation. So I'd like to invite Mr. John Quinn, principal of Clara Barton, to come on up and give us an update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Good evening.
We will give you all the latest and greatest from Clara Barton. I know you have a copy of this in your packets, and you see the first slide is from our new music therapy teacher that was hired by the district, Miss Erica. She just started right before vacation. I think she was in that Friday before vacation and was in today. The kids, I haven't been in there personally to see her, but that is a picture Mrs. Hutchinson took and sent off to us, and the kids were having a blast. So music therapy is up and running. Down below, you see our intervention team highlights there. We celebrated Read Across America back in March. Everybody was reading at the same time, and also we have started our cycle number 7 in our intervention cycle and working on the same skills that we have been working on throughout the year. So we are still going strong, and the program is really doing well. They're working hard down in the Reading Title I room. The next page, you see Gigi, who is our mascot of ST Math, and the specialists try just to keep keep it motivated in the month of May. So so they're instituting a little bracket challenge that you would see in March Madness. The board isn't up yet, but they thought about this right before vacation. So we are going to see if we can have some fun and promote good sportsmanship and certainly learn the basic skills of math by doing a little competition school-wide. So we're going to roll that out next week. And next time I come back, I'll let you know how it goes. Earlier in the year, we were still on the fence about if we were going to do field trips or if we weren't going to do a field trip. So the third grade had made a decision before we could really go on a field trip was to bring Sturbridge Village to us rather than us go to Sturbridge Village. Now, yes, when you go to Sturbridge Village, you get that experience, and it's a fantastic place that we are fortunate to have so close. But the two folks that came from Sturbridge Village to us were amazing. That woman there you see in the first couple of slides, she stayed in character all day, even when the kids weren't in session. And really, when you asked, what would you like for lunch? And said, you get a pizza or something else. And she said, well, what's pizza? Taking her role from Plymouth Plantation to say pizza hasn't been invented yet. So really good. It was actually a great program for half the price because we didn't have to pay for the buses to go there. So that one worked out well. So and it was a really, really enjoyable program. Fourth grade, our team leader, Miss Frudenthal, had one of her fitness friends come in. Coach Hannah came in, and as you can see from the picture, worked her class worked her class hard in the gym. They just talked about fitness and lifestyles, staying off your devices all day and getting some exercise and, having a healthy body. And the kids really enjoyed that. And she was great that she came in and just talked about staying healthy and physical, eating right, exercising right, and all those good things that we should all do ourselves. Mrs. Sims from the art department is very excited because she is taking on the monumental task of the Meditative Mindful Memorial Walk. And what she is going to do in conjunction with Mr. Fontaine, our music teacher, this year we're bringing back a Memorial Day program at both Barton and Chaffee on May 26th. And what Mrs. Sims is going to do is set up the cafeteria as an art gallery walk. So when the concert is over and the program is over, we are going to invite everybody in to take a walk through the cafeteria, and however, we're going to set it up to look at all of the children's artwork. And so we're still, in one door, head down, look at the ocean, the forest, all of the different prints, and out the back door. So we think we can do it. It's ambitious, but we are going to tackle that project. So Mrs. Sims wanted to do it, so we're using some of the dividers that we bought during COVID to separate the classrooms and the library. So we're actually going to use them and put artwork on both sides and hopefully create a nice path. So we're looking forward to that. That will happen May 26th, rain date May 27th. We also had bingo for books, which at Barton we did a little different this year. We had it during the day, a couple of days right before vacation, before we left for break. And you can clearly see Officer Gray and Officer Meade having far more fun than the kids because they were the official bingo callers for day number 2. They actually played a couple games and won some books themselves. So I want to thank them for dropping by on the second day to call the numbers. Mrs. Trainer stopped by to call some numbers. Our custodian called some numbers. I called some numbers, and the kids had a blast. And obviously, at the end of the day, everybody got a book when it was all said and done. And our PTO bought those books with our PTO Scholastic bucks. So everybody got to grab a book before there, and it's. Bingo is serious, as you know, and even in the 3rd and 4th grade, it was fun, and it was just different to do it during the day. I know Chaffee still does it at night. Parents come and do it and help, but we tried this and it worked out. It worked out well. So whether we do it that way next year or bring it back to tonight is still under advisement. And a couple things that are not on here. One, Mr. Lucas stopped by today, and we went into the bathroom that was damaged during the fire. It's about 70% back and running. The new stalls are up, the partitions are up, the stall doors are up. So the folks were in over vacation working on that to get that up and running. So we're almost back with that. Next week we'll start our MCAS math at Clara Barton for 3rd grade, and 4th grade will be the following week. And I told you about the Memorial Day program, and that's actually it for me, but I'm sure I'm missing something, but I'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Looks great to me.
Great. Any other committee members have any questions?
I do not.
Yeah, great stuff in there. I guess this is more of a bigger picture question. This is the first year that we've been using Assistant Principal Hutchinson in both buildings, right?
Correct.
Are you comfortable talking just real quick how that's going? Are there, pros and cons? Are there things you guys are looking to adjust? Or how do you feel it's been going?
Well, I mean, certainly it's worked out great. I mean, that she has an established schedule for both buildings, so teachers and staff know when she's there, and Chaffee or when she's at Barton. And if anybody can handle that, it's her, because Kristen is so methodical and always 3 steps ahead of me when it comes to doing something like that. I don't know if we're going to tweak it or not next year. I mean, certainly she is, if I'm out for a day, she'll stay at Barton, or if Rob's out for a day, she'll stay at Chaffee, and she's doing that. And, she's handled observations of staff at both buildings and doing that. But overall, I can't, it's gone off pretty smoothly for all intents and purposes, in my opinion. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Mr. Lucas, but no, she's really done a great job.
It seems to be working well this year, especially having everybody back in, and as John alluded to, it's helped a lot when one of them is out, that she's able to, as an experienced administrator, know both buildings, know the staff, and know the kids. Has helped us a lot.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Especially with staff being out
Yep.
too during
Oh, I'm
COVID.
sure that's a
It's
huge
helped a
piece.
lot too, yeah.
Just know it's we've done it in other districts and we've tried different things and
Yeah.
it's challenging, but it
Yeah.
sounds like she's got the capacity to handle it.
Yeah,
and
no, she's,
maneuver it.
like I said, she sticks to the schedule, which is important, because people know when she's in afternoons or mornings and they look for her, and clearly she won the Assistant Principal of the Year award, so
Saw that, that's great.
she's doing something right, and a lot smarter than me, so, yeah, but like I said, we'll figure that out when school year gets out and see if we're gonna do anything different next year, but it's
Sounds
working
good.
pretty good.
Anything else?
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
John. Thanks, John.
All right, we do have our student representative, Molly Raymond.
For the middle school, the NJHS has 16 new 6th and 7th graders that were accepted into the NJHS, and they are very excited to welcome these members and celebrate them at the induction ceremony on May 25th. Congratulations to them. The Student Council at the middle school sponsored a Spirit Week at the end of March, with the days including Music and Movie Monday, Tacky Tuesday, Western Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Future Friday. Lots of students and staff dressed up. The OMS Chorus would like to congratulate the following 7th and 8th grade students who were accepted to the 2022 Mass Junior District Chorus. Congratulations to Michelle Anansi, Delaney Burke, Ariana Burns, Emily Dupuy, Ethan Lemire, and Riley Moody. They will attend 2 virtual rehearsals in April and May with their peers from the Central District. For theater, they would like to congratulate the students who performed in Xanadu the musical. They held their cast party on April 5th and are so proud of the entire cast and crew. And the video of opening night is available on OHS Productions' new YouTube channel. The yearbooks at middle school are still on sale for $25, and the orders this year are online only. Art Club had students finishing up the session by creating personalized keychains of their own drawings. Everyone enjoyed the club and cannot wait for next year. The green team at the middle school collected number 6 plastic to create keychain DIY shrinky dinks and reuse some plastic that would normally be recycled. And they would like to remind everyone to reduce, reuse, and recycle in that order. Esports at the middle school is underway and participates in practices every Wednesday and Thursday with 18th, 7th grade students that make up a full team. The team is gearing up for their first in-house double elimination tournament that is coming up shortly. At the Library and Media Center, the 5th grade library class recently held a book tasting where the library was set up like a restaurant with tablecloths, placemats, and menus. The students got to sample all types of book genres and write reviews for each one. And to please check out the new library page under the school library on the OXPS school website. Some of the new features include recommended books to read, thought of the day, word of the day, joke of the day, and random fact of the day. And for the high school, the class of 2024 raised $300 at the Smash It collection on April 23rd and is hosting a Woo Sox fundraiser on June 18th. The game is at 4:05, and to email Ms. Nugent for tickets. The class of 2023 is collecting shoes for a fundraiser and is looking for help from throughout the community and other schools. Prom tickets have been steadily selling, and they were increased to $70 today. The prom is May 20th at Cyprian Keys. And finally, the NHS is collecting items for No Birthday Left Behind, and the induction is held tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the auditorium.
Thank you. Any questions for Molly?
Very informative, thank you, as always.
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah.
We do have a consent agenda for our meeting minutes of April 11th. So if you have time to look at that, we do need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of April 11th.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Forbes?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I'm a yes, 4 yes, 1 absent. Meeting minutes pass. Moving along the agenda, Central Office, Superintendent of Schools has a couple updates for us. Mr.
Okay,
Lucas.
great. First, would like to update you guys on preschool. I know we've talked about this at other meetings. Just a little background information. We are moving our 8th grade back to the middle school, as we know. We've made that decision. That's going to free up some space in this building. We're going to move our ACE program up to the main floor here from downstairs. That's going to free up some space. One of our ideas is we'd like to offer a full-day preschool classroom that would allow us to have our own entrance and exit out back, and dedicated bathrooms right down the hall. Mrs. Miller, who is our interim special ed director, and I walked the building again in that area again today. We're looking to add one classroom next year for a full day for 4-year-olds. This program would operate from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the high school. Ideally, approximately 8 to 10 paying peer model students and 6 to 7 non-paying special education students for a total of 15 to 16 max students in the classroom. We do not provide transportation for peer model students. All special education students are provided transportation if it's deemed necessary in their IEP. The classroom would have one teacher full-time and one instructional assistant full-time, with additional help from some other IAs in the afternoon if needed. Program would have its own dedicated bathrooms right down the hall. We have a total of only 6 cemented verbal commitments so far. We'd look to have 8, but feel we can get that. If we end up with more than 10, we would do a lottery. The curriculum aligns with the Massachusetts frameworks and is supplemented with foundations, lively letters, handwriting without tears, second step, and we thinkers. We have mapping, curriculum mapping, and everything's all set. After speaking with Mr. Ledoux several times, we've already built and committed to our general budget. We believe at this time the best place to do this would be take it from our ESSER funds going forward to launch the program. This will allow us to place any funds collected from families at this point into a revolving fund going forward for future programs. This gives us a year to look for grants and gauge future interest. Going forward, this preschool classroom would impact the general budget by approximately $50,000 per year. Tonight, I'm looking for your support if we're going to move forward with this planning and continue to move forward to do that. And we would need to solidify commitments from our families and then also our commitment to them that we're going to do this program. So I'm kind of looking for your support tonight if we're going to go forward with this program. And I'll
So,
take questions. I know I gave you a lot right there.
yeah, I know that was quite a bit for committee members to kind of absorb at once. So why don't you reflect a second or two, and if you have a question or comment or something you want to ask, please just do that. Mrs.
So I will
Forbes.
say, we had a discussion earlier today about that, so most of my questions have been answered, but this is the first time I'm hearing 4-year-olds only. Typically preschool is 3 and 4-year-olds.
Correct.
I'm curious to know how that came
Correct.
about.
Because typically, 4-year-olds, it's a longer day. We felt it'd be more constructive for 4-year-olds and to focus on them. The 3-year-olds, it's a long day for 3-year-olds. So our focus would be first to fill it with 4-year-olds was our hope. Offer them that day.
And
It's a long
those-
day for 3-year-olds.
No, I know, I used to have babies who did those long days. Oh shoot, now I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, give me one sec. Just totally lost it. Go ahead, I'll
All
think of
right,
it.
come back to you. You jotting some questions down there, or do you?
I'm just trying to go over. What
I can
Nick
go
said
over any
real quick.
details again. I know I gave you guys a lot.
So it's a 1 full day preschool of 4-year-olds using ESSER funds this year
Correct.
with the hope to secure some grant money for the
Correct.
future.
Correct.
So if we were unable to do that, these students would be moving into kindergarten anyway, so we're not
Correct.
leaving anybody out in the
Right.
lurch for the following year.
Correct. We'd at least try the program for, at a minimum, we would try it for 1 year with our ESSER funds.
Yep.
Which we do have. In checking with Justin, we have the funds, we can do it.
Okay.
And if it goes well and it gauges enough interest in the community, typically these rooms cost about $100,000 a year. You get about half of it from parent fees that they would pay in, and then the other half you have to take out of your budget. It's about $50,000.
So Mike, I had written last meeting that we had 48 responses to the survey, 30 interested in full day.
Correct.
Does that mean that was a lot of 3-year-olds or?
We then got back to them. Some of them were 3-year-olds. And some of them, when we realized we wouldn't provide transportation, they bailed out.
Okay.
When they realized the hours from 9 to 3, it wouldn't work for their family.
Okay.
So we have 6 firm verbals right now that they're in. They'll write us a check tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, you need,
And it's possible we'll
Or
have
more.
more. We think we'll get more,
yeah.
but we're just not sure. So
Would we open it up to 3-year-olds if we didn't get more? Or is that a
we
done
probably
deal?
could.
I mean, 'cause
Mrs.
if we-
Miller's willing to come to the next meeting if you guys have some technical preschool questions. She's our preschool expert, but we probably could.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it full, and that was actually my question, was out of the 6 committed, were they all 4-year-olds?
They're all
So
4-year-olds.
that was a yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Ms. Cook?
So right now, do you have like 2 morning and 2 afternoon preschool classrooms at Claire Barton?
We do, and we would leave those classrooms at Barton. So we have 3-year-olds in the morning 4 days a week, and then we have 4-year-olds 5 days a week in the afternoon at Barton.
And then the full day would just come here?
Full day would be here only.
Okay.
That's it.
And that's a 5-day, right?
Yep,
Okay.
5-day, full day.
Just making sure.
What about play, recess, outdoors?
We have the carbuncle thing over there, but we also probably would want to set up a little, there's some grassy areas right behind the high school.
Yeah.
There, that we could set up some little areas for them to play too,
Plastic stuff.
real quickly. We actually probably would use 2 classrooms. One would be the classroom, set up as a preschool room. We'd also set up one next door for PT, OT pullouts, and as if it's pouring rain out, as a play area additionally, so they'd kind of have a PE room also for the kids to play when the weather's not great.
Yeah.
And they can't go outside, or it's, you know, there's snow on the ground or whatever. So we'd actually dedicate 2 classrooms to this program.
I just thought of another question. Can they participate in school lunch? I don't mean like the lunch program necessarily, but they can get lunch from the
Mrs.
cafeteria?
Miller and I believe they can. They
Okay.
can, but we believe that
Corey's saying yes.
it'd be easier for them to just have it in their classroom than go up to the, we
Of
thought of
course.
that.
No, have it delivered to the classroom
Correct.
or the aide picks it up over.
Correct.
Right, right.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
That's
We-
a benefit
We would do
too.
that, yes. It
Nice.
is.
Yes.
Would you like keep the high school students like away? Obviously away
Yes.
from them, but
Great question. So the only program down there would be NJROTC, which is, obviously, you know, takes up a
Yeah.
lot of room down there. That's okay. Computer science classrooms would be down there. But really, it's just gonna be those programs that are down there.
Okay.
We would also probably move the CNA program down there, which only meets 1 block a day, 1 or 2 blocks a day at most. Our fire science class, which meets 1 block a day, might be down there. And our early childhood class might meet down there also.
Okay.
But the great thing about having the class in the building, one of the benefits is our early childhood program, would those kids be able to walk downstairs and do their observation hours, volunteer, pitch in, and do their internship right in the building without having to transport out.
Yeah, that would
Would be
be-
awesome. So
yeah,
then you're opening
great.
it up to more kids, because we have students in this building who don't have a car. It'd be wonderful for them to get involved with that program, or
Yeah.
early childhood program, get licensed without having to get a car to go somewhere else. So that's a benefit to that program. And that's really an add-on that we're hoping for our kids. And other high schools have done it very successfully, where it's in the building for the kids. So,
What do you need from us? Do we need any
just-
kind of
I just
motion or
want-
vote, or
not,
just a
not, I don't need a
thumbs up,
vote, I
keep
just need a
going?
thumbs up for us to keep moving, Mrs. Miller and I to keep moving. If we hit a roadblock, I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
You know, we would like to get 8 as a minimum to move forward,
Sure.
as would Mr. Ledoux,
Yep.
for funding. But we feel like we can do this, so we'd like to try it. We feel like the ESSER funds give us some wiggle room to actually try this
Give
and
it a
launch
shot
it.
this year.
Yeah,
I assume we've reached out to our current preschool 4-year-olds to ask if they would prefer the full day?
we have,
Okay,
We
good.
have.
So, right now, I'm hoping to get 2 more.
yes, I am too.
Well, that was gonna be my question, because last meeting, didn't we talked about the numbers that you had referred to,
Yeah.
and then we were gonna have, was there gonna be an additional survey that went out? Do you,
Yeah.
thought there was something I recall about that. We were gonna poll those parents and ask, similar to
survey?
what you were saying, right? Weren't we
What
gonna
we've
reach
got,
out?
what we've got is plenty of yays. We then are now getting confirmation by phone and verbal, and that's what we're not getting. We're not getting that next step of, now we need to know for sure.
Well, who's doing that? Are we eliciting that conversation?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay.
We are.
Based on
Mrs. Miller and her folks are doing that. They're reaching out to people. So, we got 6 verbals yeses, so,
And the ultimate confirmation is a check, I'm guessing?
yes, it is. Our next step would be by June 1st, we'd like the down payment of the first month. So that they're committed, and then they can know that they don't have to commit to somebody else.
Yep.
For daycare or whatever.
I think you'll get 4 more.
Sound good?
I think you're gonna get more than that.
Okay.
Once this gets out there, I mean, I don't feel like it's out there.
The 9 to 3 is tough. It's not a full day in the working world. Think about it for your kids. If
Yeah.
you 9 to 3 doesn't work for a lot of people who don't have that before and after, grandparent, neighbor, friend.
Yeah, true. Okay.
So that's where part of my concern with the full day is that, you know, coming from the daycare world, a full day for us was 7 to 6. Lots of people needed that. 8 to 5, that kind of thing. So I think that's part of the challenge for people, is to get that 6-hour day to actually work into a work day.
Well, then down the line, isn't it piggybacking with Educare somehow and extending the program? Have it be an extended, so 8 to 3 is, or 9 to 3 is like school-based?
tell you we've
and then
been
3 to 6 is.
Pretty successful without having to offer that, and I worry about offering that, because when you have a 4-year-old that's there from
That's a long day.
7 o'clock in the morning
That's a
till
long
6 o'clock
day,
at
yeah.
night,
Mhm.
it's, you know, I'm
That's
sure
a
it's nice
long-
daycare, but
A long day, yeah.
And at
You guys
daycare,
have
you
your
get a nice
full
little
enrollment
2-hour
with
nap
just
too.
9 to 3.
9 to 3.
Just 9 to
Yeah.
3, yeah.
I think you're gonna get more though. but- Okay, so you just
Yeah,
need,
yeah,
there's no
Just want
vote
you
need
guys
to be taken, you're
Support,
just giving
support
us
to
an
move forward,
update.
that's all we're looking for.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Looks like we're all
Okay.
good with that,
Molly?
all right.
Yep.
Yep, okay, all right, great,
Next.
thank you, guys. Personnel. Sadly, for Oxford community, Rick Vincent passed away, very sad. Rick was an amazing custodian at Chafee and a friend to so many people. Rick spent 17 years at the middle school. I was there today and folks were talking about him. Several years at Chafee. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Rick will be really, really missed. He had a wonderful day at April 1st, his last day at Chafee was great. The staff there threw a wonderful goodbye for him. And he spent it in the classroom with the kids and making their animals for their dioramas. And just a wonderful person who truly loved kids and loved being with kids. Can't say enough great things about him. And we will miss him, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family. And Robert Ruiz is our new head custodian at Chafee, and got to work with Rick and learn a lot from Rick in his time with him. So he's our new head custodian at Chafee, and that's my personnel report for tonight. But Rick will really be missed, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Thank you. That's it for me tonight.
Do you just want to, can you just fill us in and just update the committee about the search for our special ed director?
Yes.
Maybe just give us a quick update.
Sure. So yep, absolutely. We've begun our special ed, our search for our special ed director and Director of Student Services and Special Education. We have a committee that's been formed. We have 10 members plus myself. And we are having a meeting tomorrow night, our first one, to talk about, finalize what questions we're going to ask, come up with an interview schedule, what candidates. We have 11 applicants so far, and we're going to narrow that down to who we're going to interview, and then a final list will be narrowed down to no more than 3 and given to myself, and we'll go from there. So hopefully we'll be able to narrow it down and have a final candidate in a week or so. That's the hope. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Any questions for the superintendent on that or anything else?
Happy we have 11 applicants.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right.
All right, school committee business, substitute nurse and summer school nurse pay rates. We do need a vote on this. We do have a memorandum in our packet to us from Superintendent Lucas, proposed pay increase for summer school nurses and substitute school nurses. Guess I will read this. I know I have to read this. I'm proposing that the hourly pay rate for summer school nurses increases from $30 per hour to $45 per hour, effective July 1st, 2022. Further, I'm proposing that the daily rate for substitute school nurses increases from $200 per day to $250 per day, effective July 1st, 2022, for the next school year. In consultation with head nurse Amy Granette, I offer the following reasoning. Summer school nurses, Oxford's paying well below the average for southern Worcester County districts for the summer school nurse hourly pay rate. Webster pays $50, Tantascwa pays $55, and Leicester pays $45. Summer school houses the most medically fragile student population because it is a special education program. The summer school nurse in Oxford also covers more than one school, which is not the case in many other districts, including those previously mentioned. There is also travel involved between buildings. Summer school nurse is stationed at Barton, but can be called to OMS and OHS if needed. It's difficult, if not impossible, to find a registered nurse willing to work for $30 per hour. Currently, the licensed practical nurses in Oxford earn $30 per hour. Because the summer school requires an RN, nurses have a supervisory role under their own nursing license over the LPNs who work during the summer. District nurses who seek extra income from summer school work and other districts because they pay much more. Without the Oxford nurses pooling their time to cover the summer school, we would likely have to go to an agency, which would cost more than double the rate. It makes sense to increase the hourly pay rate for the school nurses who are invested in Oxford Public Schools. So I think I'm going to pause there, and if there's any questions, so we can take it two separate kind of items. Do you have any questions for the superintendent and his rationale
No.
to increase from 30 to 45? Day-to-day substitute nurse. Our day-to-day substitute nurse rate is also very low compared to the surrounding towns, even after the increase to $200 per day implemented in January of 2021. Dudley Charlton, Leicester, and a couple others are offering $220 per day, which isn't a huge improvement. Worcester pays $300 per day, so they have a lengthy substitute nurse list. Currently, Oxford only has 2 substitute nurses on their substitute nurse list, which is not ideal. Therefore, I respectfully request that the committee consider to vote as follows. So I'm going to pause before we make the motion. Are there any questions or comments that you want to make about the 200 to 250? All right, so I will turn it over to one of my members. Somebody would like to read the motion.
I'll make the motion to increase the summer school nurse rate to $45 per hour effective July 1st, 2022, and increase the daily pay rate for the substitute school nurses to $250 per day effective July 1st, 2022.
Are there any
Second.
questions? Oh, there's a second. All right, any discussion? Just being fiscally responsible, I'm assuming this was vetted out by our business.
It was.
Any other comments or questions? Call for the vote. Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Forbes?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I'm a yes, 4 yes, 1 absent. Subcommittee reports. Policy Committee, we have a meeting Thursday at 5:30, so nothing really new to report. Personnel and negotiations, Mr. Burke.
We're continuing to negotiate with our clerical units and with the OEA, and we have a proposal to look at an executive session tonight for our instructional assistants.
Excellent. School building and safety subcommittees, that's Molly and myself, nothing new to report on our end. District accountability and curriculum subcommittee, Mr. Burke again,
No, nothing to report there.
okay. Diversity, equity, and inclusion subcommittee, Molly, September.
We always have a report. So let's see, we met on April 13th and went over some old business and did some voting of minutes. Just a few things to note. I think I mentioned at our last meeting that the GSA has changed the name to the Equality Alliance. They are going to be putting a presentation together to offer to OXPS high school staff, inclusive language and suggestions for things they would like to see on the surveys that go to the children, the students, the first week of school. So that's happening, which is really exciting. We added Z and Zer to our dictionary. It's a gender-neutral pronoun. Our dictionary is up and running. If anybody wants a copy of that for your own information, we'd be more than happy to share that with you.
Could you identify where it is up and running? Is it in your?
We have a working dictionary in our DEI folder in a shared Google Drive, which I'd be happy to add you to if you're interested.
Yeah,
There's a lot
sure.
of good stuff in there.
I would love to.
I'd like to see
Okay.
it.
Okay, we can do that.
Thanks.
You too, Molly? Oh, no, you're in it. That's
Yeah,
right.
and-
Never mind. Sorry, Molly. I think I had mentioned, too, that we had the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren meeting with Senator Fatman and Representative McKenna, which went really well. It was brought to my attention that we have spent a lot of time and effort on our LGBTQIA community as well as our grandparents raising grandchildren. So we discussed reaching out to different groups. We're having a hard time getting anyone from our EL population to want to or maybe feel comfortable enough to join us and give us their experience and information that we can use to do better for those families. We're also trying to reach out to the BIPOC community and the religious. So we're looking for anybody in the Oxford Public Schools who is a part of a religion or a culture that has specific holidays, anything that a teacher or the school might want to know. We had a nice Ramadan write-up that we received from one of our members, and it was very informative to a teacher who would need to know this child doesn't eat from sundown to sunup. It goes on for 30 days, no water. Those are important things to know so that we can make children feel welcome, make sure their families know that we're supportive of their family, cultural, religious differences. So if anybody would like to submit anything on any religion that we could use that information to better your students' experience here, we would be very appreciative. You can reach out to me at sforbes@oxps.org or mcook@oxps.org. And we also have reached out, and I believe we'll be voting in a new member from the Oxford Fire Department. We had a discussion about transgender people when they are in an emergency situation, and how police officers and EMTs handle those delicate situations, but are sure to be meeting medical needs. So Officer Gurnett reached out to the Oxford Fire Department, and one of their EMTs will be joining us, hopefully getting voted in on our committee. That's it for me. Our next meeting, May 11th, 6 o'clock, right here.
Oh, that's really, really, really impressive. I'm really impressed with the work that the committee is doing. I guess my question, to you as a committee is there a way, just like with the dictionary you referred to, or the glossary,
It's a dictionary of
Dictionary.
terms. Yep.
I'm wondering if there's a way for us to be able to post some of the work that you're doing onto our webpage? Like, could your subcommittee have like a page where there's links where people can connect to some of the great stuff that you guys are doing within that committee? Because I think part of what we need to do now is start to educate, right, and get this information out.
Well,
I don't know if that's something you've ever discussed.
It isn't, but we have discussed the fact that from our community, we have a handful of people. But this is not something really just for our schools. This is about our town, our
Right.
community, all of our families, old, young, and everything in between. So we have a lot of discussion about that, how to get more involvement, and maybe having some information on our webpage is a good idea, but that would be a Acadian question, I believe, more
Yeah.
so than a September
Yeah,
question.
no, I mean, it's something that, that's an easy do, and then where do you go after that? Like, how can we, maybe engage Kaylee's department from the town, and is there a way to get some of this information up on the web, up on the TV pages, the educational channel, the way for people of the, members of this committee to report out at, other meetings in town? Because you're right, there's a lot of great things going on in that subcommittee, but I feel like we now need to think about how do we branch it out,
Right, so to this point.
get
we-
information out to people.
Right, we've really been reaching out to groups, gathering information on things that we need to improve on and/or things that we do well on. I think the plan for year one was to gather a lot of information and move forward from there. We've been doing what we call baby steps in our marathon. I would love to get information out. I just don't want to be exclusive of any groups.
Right.
So. And I also want to give a shout out, sorry, before I forget, Mrs. Kennan, who's a member of our DEI subcommittee, brought Spanish books into her library. And she said when students came in who were not English had as their primary language or their first language at home, were really excited. And these books have been very popular. So that's awesome. She's always willing to change and make anything for those kids over there. So good job, Mrs. Kennan, wherever you are.
Mrs. Kennan knows how I value our friendship, our professional relationship we had at the middle school. She is one of the most amazing women I know,
Yeah.
who will do whatever it takes for anybody. She's
Yeah.
just a great, great person.
Yeah.
So great job, Audrey. Keep up the good work. All right, where are we at? Warrants. I signed one of these, Helen, so do I just not speak to the other two, or do I say them all?
Can always say.
Just reading them out, that's really all that's necessary.
Okay, the ones that Pal signed, and then
Yeah.
just. All right, so there was a warrant report. There was a payroll warrant from April 12th, 2022 for $678,000, $678,338.74 that Mrs. Griffin signed. Was an accounts payable on April 19th, 2022 for $107,991.11 that Mrs. Griffin signed. And there was accounts payable on April 26, 2022 for $175,916.74 that I signed. That is the warrant reports. We do have members forum, so I'll start with you. Ms. Raymond, we'll ask you, anything that you want to add in addition?
No, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cook? Nothing tonight. Mrs. Forbes?
Just a quick congratulations to the NJHS new inductees. That's exciting. And those members who made it to the district choir as well. And I'm eager to watch the production. I wasn't able to go, so thanks for noting that it's on. Perfect. That's it.
Good job.
Thank you. Mr. Burke?
Nothing tonight.
Real quick for me, to kind of talk to some of the students and staff at my school today, kind of coming back from April break, it's kind of that recharging the battery and just getting focused for the end of the year, kind of the lights at the end of the tunnel. So I just wish everybody the best as they kind of work through the next couple of months, or month and a half. I mean, it's going to be May at the end of this week, or beginning of next week. So good luck to everybody in the district, students, staff, families, as you finish out this year. Hopefully people can reflect and make some changes as they finish out the year if needed. Congratulations to the NJHS students at OMS and the NHS students who are going to be inducted tomorrow night. It's a great honor for all of you, so congratulations. And, I know the superintendent talked about it, but, Rick Vincent, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. He was a great guy, had the privilege of working with him for quite a few years at the middle school. Always willing to give a helping hand, dress up on spree days. He was a very, very powerful speaker at many of our Memorial Day celebrations we had over there, because Rick served our country. So just a real loss for the community. And I just want to extend, on behalf of all the Oxford Public School community, our thoughts and prayers to Rick's family. The final public comment, there is no one in the public out there at all, so I'm just going to open the floor and I'm going to close the floor. Future business, our next regular school committee meeting is on Monday, May 9th. That will be the evaluation of the superintendent. We will go over that night. I pretty much think that will probably consume most of our agenda. But if there are any other items that need to be discussed at that meeting, just let me know. I can pass that along to Helen. And do need a motion to go into executive session. I forget, do I read it first and then go in? Okay. Pursuant to MGL, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A, 3, the committee will enter executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Oxford Education Association, the Oxford Clerical Workers Unit, and the Oxford Instructional Library Aides Unit, as is necessary to protect the position of the public body. The committee will exit executive session and adjourn the public meeting without conducting any further business. We need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote. Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mrs. Forbes?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
I'm a yes, 4 yes, 1 absent. We are going into executive session, and then we will adjourn from there. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.